here we go. My top 10 breakout protagonists shown of 2023. Obviously, this is subjective, and you're a psychopath to think you can put all of these in order. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Kicking it off at number 10, we have to stop with the JoJos. JoJos and My Woman, Jolene Joestar. She was a true savage, a prisoner, a fighter, holding a lineage to the Joestars. She gets linked up with her dad, meets a lot of friends along the way. Crazy beast, and I think this is the perfect way to kick off this top 10. This was a hell of an anime, hell of a battle. It was a two-part series that came out at the beginning and middle of 2023. We even got a glimpse of one of the craziest OP antagonists of all time, Father Pichu. Full of comedy as always and continuation of the JoJo legacy. This show will have you laughing your ass off, and she is the one to kick us off. Jumping into the next one at number 9. This one hurts. I don't like it. I think it caught everybody off in the latter half of the year. This is such a crazy good anime, so whenever I mention this one at number 9, people are going to hate on me. But I can't believe they went straight Game of Thrones route and started murking folks. Jujutsu Kaisen. Mahito killed off Namine. It just hit different. He was always in the background as a cool guy. He was a hell of a teacher, professor. But at the end, when he went in, he was grabbing Mahiti and beating the hell out of him. He was grabbing all different types of curse users and beating them down. It was like a hot knife through butter. This one is definitely one of the anime deaths that caught me off guard, and I can't believe it. Jujutsu Kaisen continuously is stepping up their performance, stepping up their anime, stepping up their writing. But man, Namine with the tie and the glasses giving the speech dying, this one hurt different. So he's number 9 on my breakout protagonist. All right, so that coming in right behind them, we have our first tie. It's from over them boys over at Mappa again with them Bungo Stray Dogs. I love an original anime that keeps you on your toes, and let me tell you, this one does it perfectly. It seems like every single episode they have a crazy plot twist at the end that makes you click the next episode. The main character, aka Were Tiger, is hilarious and does shonen right. He's a young man who was essentially left out to dry. He is the main character, but let's not get it twisted. There are plenty of people who can steal a show. His teammates, Dazai and Rampo. Rampo is honestly deserving on this list by himself, but he isn't mentioned until later, so you have to give respects to the OGs, like Dazai, for being the foremost genius. The way that Rampo uses his deductive reasoning on the Grey Wolf. I've been watching this anime for 6 weeks, and already I'm on season 4. It's a nice, hot, slow burn. It keeps you invested. You can go through these seasons with the absolute quickness, especially when they start to chain together. I think we haven't seen the full slew of power that Dazai possesses, but in the end of season 3, how he gets up to the cafe is top anime tier genius. I'm not going to lie. From what I've been seeing online, some even compare him to the great Light Yagami. Bungo, the first tie, Dazai, and Rampo. Gotta watch it. Breakout. Oh. Some of these animes have such a deep cast that we have to double dip. And that's where we're coming to the next one. We can't necessarily confirm it, but like I said, this was on some Game of Thrones shit here. Jujutsu Kaisen is stepping it up. They're trying to be the best anime of all time. I think they're truly going for it. This one again came out of nowhere, and it's my girl. It hurts. She's an original member, Kugisaki. Kugisaki is one of the original big 3, gave her all. We know she was a little bit corny when she had the little hammers and hitting it with the nails, but after Nanami's death, to have it back-to-back in back-to-back episodes, this girl right here is obviously willing to die for the cause, and she did it. She paid the ultimate sacrifice in season 2 of JJK. She's a breakout, and she is definitely deserving to be on this list. Now, with JJK putting everybody on and shining, we can't forget about the beginning of this year with my boys over at Demon Slayer. This could arguably be a top 5, and on any other list, I would have him higher, but cracking it, gotta give my man Muichiro Tokito. That's right. He's a game changer. I ain't gonna lie. At the beginning of the series, he was kind of a hater boy junior. All he wanted to do was become the best Demon Slayer. But let's be honest. My perfect, adorable son, Tanjiro, will always reign supreme. He didn't like Tanjiro, which is fine, but Tanjiro has these sayings that will stick with you forever. This man did whatever whatever he could to save that kid. After he's hearing Tanjiro's motivation echoing in his skull. Mohitaro with the wind jutsu, the wind water, I don't know. It was cool. It was a really good switch. He came out of nowhere. He wasn't talked about as being one of the Demon Slayers. And it really impacted me. So I'm giving him this spot right here because he was a breakout character. He caught me off guard. I was motivated whenever I saw him. He's another young lad. And in the realm of Demon Slayers, as you saw, he's one of the strongest ones out. Now, this one could go as a protagonist or an antagonist, so we're going to give him an honorable mention at the number 5. This man is an anti-hero and could legit have his own list because he falls into so many different categories. But for the top 10 or the top 25, we got to throw Gabby Maru there from Hell's Paradise. This character holds near and dear to me because he is a good guy, but he's a bad guy. He does it mostly for himself, but if he likes you and he has you on his team, he'll kill for you. Or he'll just kill because he is a very competitive person and wants to get back to his family. Hell's Paradise is this new anime that came out. I think it's a breakout of 2023. I think it's a sleeper anime that does not get enough attention. It doesn't even have its footing yet, but it's making a huge splash. We do know that we are confirmed for a season 2, which is great. The Tenzin with their abilities is a new and a different edition of the curses of the shonen universe. Honestly, he is a top 5, and it could be on either list. So I'm throwing Gabby Maru with the curveball / Easter egg as the top 10 protagonists of 2023. And after all these crazy animes, it's time to get into the nitty gritty. We're getting into the grease. This anime won Anime of the Year, so of course that's going to be in the top 5. Son of Thor breaks into the top 5 with Thorfinn. We get the craziest character development in the shortest time, arguably of all time in anime history. It is great. In the first season, he would have been number 1 on most demonic characters. Thorfinn is a tier anime antagonist, but in season 2, he is the protagonist because he flips fast. He was broken, reduced to nothing. With that humble beginning, we get to see the full cycle of his adulthood and maturation. We finally see at the end of season 2, he is completely changed. That's it. From the king's right-hand man, killing people left and right, to a humble farmer. I am very excited for season 3, and we'll get to see my man Thorfinn shine. Now he's got the sweet little haircut, the Scully. So Netflix, do not ruin this. After being argued as the greatest anime off time, but having the craziest cliffhanger fall off, he finally returns. And honestly, these 3 could go in any type of order, but the comeback after falling off for 2 seasons what makes this one so good. So number 3, we got Deku-san coming. People will hate this, and I did too, for how bad this anime turned. Anime fans worldwide love MHA. The first 2 or 3 or 4 seasons were truly transcendent. Like I said, as a new gen come, they were saying this was the best anime of all time. But listen, this isn't Naruto or One Piece. You can't build an anime over 20 years anymore. People won't stick around. But My Villain Academia, Deku had the biggest turnaround ever. He quit simping and got back to business. He fought everyone, friend or foe. He wanted to avenge All Might, fight Tamura, and defeat him more than anything. His 180 degrees change gives him number 3 spot. Say what you want, but he is the leader of My Hero Academia. He is the leader of Class 1A. And after he turned around, Deku made the top 3. You already know he had to make the list, but he's number 2. But he really could be number 1. But since it's still a newer anime, we got to give my man Tanjiro number 2. This man's always positive, constant motivation, and he will never let anyone go. He will never give up. They continue to up the ante in Demon Slayer, and Tanjiro's leading the charge, rightfully so. After heavily funneling the cure to his sister, chasing down top-tier demons left and right, killing them and avenging them, new friends, new faces everywhere. It's hard not to put him on every anime list as the number 1 rider. He's continuing to stride forward, and that's what separates Tanjiro from the rest. You can't say anything bad about this anime, and it will go down as one of the greats. But he's not the number 1 spot. Rightfully so. Even though he said he didn't want to be the king, there can only be one. 10 years in the game, did it the right way. I called this too. I said there's only two things that are going to happen. Either he's going to complete the rumbling or Mikasa's going to have to do it. Some of the greatest characters of all time. I'm going to say it, this one's going to knock off Naruto as the #1 anime of all time. Eren Yeager. This goes without saying. I've been riding with him a decade, and I completely support him. He attained pure ascension. He played this out over and over and over again. He says it. I'd never wanted to be the king, but 80% of the species had to go so he could save his friends. This is obviously very controversial, but it is what it is. He's a ride or die, and he's doing it for his squad. Eren Yeager is the #1 protagonist of 2023.